Well, welcome to the Crazy Trade Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to talk about your Detroit Lions football against the Green Bay Packers. And again, folks, most of you guys know that the Green Bay Packers came in in Ford Field and beat Detroit 31-24. It was a mixture of reversing the philosophies. Okay, as much as you guys know, Detroit lost by a touchdown. But did they lose by just a touchdown? Did they lose by the fourth down conversions of Green Bay? And did they lose because of Dan Campbell's inability to kick a field goal and to punt the football? All right. So we've got that set up. Now, folks, this is something that was very unique. I didn't expect this to happen, that the Green Bay Packers would come to in Detroit and not so much beat us because everyone knows that watching Detroit on Thanksgiving, Detroit loses a lot. For some reason, it doesn't matter if they're having a good year, a bad year, a mediocre year, they always lose. Okay. So this is something that's been typical in the last 3 years with Green Bay Packers, which have come into town and beat us a couple times in a row now at Thanksgiving dinners. So in the second quarter, I want to start in the second quarter with this approach. Now, uh, at this point, Green Bay is up by 3-0. All right. So in the second quarter, they have the possession of the ball, and they make a uh, they end up throwing a 22-yard touchdown pass. Uh, Love ends up throwing it to Wicks for 22 yards. And this is something that was amazing about it, that we didn't expect this to happen. We didn't expect the Green Bay Packers would uh, come in and do this. So they took a page out of Detroit, and Detroit's kind of like 10-0, and now we're backpedaling here and then and so forth. And remember, the couple of possessions before that, folks, Jared Goff gets sacked, okay? Especially when if you go back to the first quarter, Detroit has their first possession, and Jared Goff gets sacked. And that's something that it's very concerning to have an offensive line that it's very bruised up. And there was a story about Frank Ragnar coming back to Detroit and coming out of retirement, and guess what? He failed his physical, and that's something that he don't want to hear. Now he can't. They say that if Detroit makes the playoffs, he could be uh, qualified to be in the first game of the wild card, supposedly. But Detroit really needs to win games and to make the playoffs for that to happen. Some people thinking that finding out that Detroit got killed, or not really killed, but a lot of things are not lining up for Detroit at all at this point. So in the first quarter, the field goal is made by Green Bay Packers. Detroit punts the ball twice in the first quarter. In the beginning of the second quarter, uh, the touchdown that I was just talking about with um, uh, Love and Wicks. Detroit ends up coming back and scoring a touchdown, and by doing this, they throw a 3-yard touchdown pass to Montgomery. Montgomery. Well, actually, yeah. Well, actually, it was a direct snap to Montgomery. To Montgomery right guard to in the end zone for a 3-yard run. So Montgomery is being played more. This is something I was talking about last week, that for some reason we went away from Montgomery. And Detroit is a team that needs both Gibbs and Montgomery to be playing at the same time, because that's what makes our offense run. That's what makes our offense go, having both those guys in there. Again, I don't want to go too far in this podcast not talking about Amon St. Brown's ankle injury that he suffered in the first quarter. Uh, it looked like he was running it through a play, and his ankle got rolled over by his own teammate, offensive line guy. So you lose a guy, and now we have to rely on Tesla, and we have to rely on uh, Jameson Williams. So Jameson Williams had a hell of a game. If you look at his stats for that game, Uh, we got a I'll go to the stats on the game for him. So Jameson Williams, uh, he had 7 receptions, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. The longest one was 44-yard uh, pass, 10 targets. So everything, the way that you want to use Jameson Williams was the way that I don't think that we have always expected him to be a cross route kind of guy, but it is obviously when Amon St. Brown went out, he had to do all that kind of reworking, getting targets, and be able to be that guy for a couple first downs. Tom Kennedy came in huge with 4 receptions for 36 yards, 4 targets. So he made his mark. Isaac Tesla, he had a touchdown. Uh, he had 2 receptions for 35 yards, and his longest was 18 reception yards. So everything about our backup receivers, and I wouldn't really say Jameson Williams is your backup receiver, but you have Tom Kennedy, who's been on the team for a while and on the practice squad. So that's something that you want to see in that. So when you see something like that, that's a good note to have. That's just so to know that we don't always need to rely on Amon St. Brown, and he can uh, potentially take time to get his ankle all healed up, or at least better. Okay, Jamon Gibbs had 3 receptions, 18 yards, 4 targets. David Montgomery, 2 receptions with 13. His longest was 16 yards and 2 targets. I will say that one of the fourth down conversions that Detroit could have made, which was the one that we probably should have kicked a field goal, was with Jamison Williams. It was 4th and 3, and uh, Goff just threw the ball to Williams, and Williams just happened to drop it. And sometimes you just got to understand where you are at the game with Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, you gotta love this guy, but you have to wonder, if is it worth it to go on fourth down when you're down by 10, and it's actually, let me go back, if it's actually um, uh, in the fourth quarter, right? So you're in the fourth quarter, and you have the ball on the 20-yard line, and um, there's about 11 minutes to go, and you throw the ball to Williams, and he could have got the first down, and he might have got a touchdown. But if you're down by 10 points, you still need 2 possessions to tie the game up. And this is a clear example of why Dan Campbell, uh, some people think that he's too emotional. I think he thinks the team is needs to man up more or be more physical. Uh, but I don't think that's really the case. I think that some people have told me that he thinks that his team is still better than the defensive teams that come into Detroit. Now, I can't say that one way or another. I do think that he just thinks that our team, Detroit, has got grit, so we might be tougher, so we can handle the fourth downs and can make the conversions. But in reality, when you're that type of guy for the last um, couple of years, going on fourth down, every team's going to play you like that. Every team's going to expect you to go for it. So they're not going to be surprised. They're not going to be like, oh, what kind of play are they going to run? Are they going to run this play? Are they going to run behind the by the scrimmage line? Are they going to throw the ball behind the scrimmage? Are they going to run the ball to Montgomery? Is it going to Gibbs? And remember that Gibbs fourth down failure in the third quarter was a bad decision, because you're in the mid part of the field. So you gave Green Bay an opportunity to score. So when you do that, that's never a good thing. All right. So if you excuse me, if you do something like that, What are you doing? Because now what you did in that third quarter, your first possession and coming out of the third out of out of no out of halftime, you go down, you move the ball downfield, maybe 17 yards. That's it. And then what happens? And then the team stalls. So, and then the ball was being given to Gibbs multiple times on second and third, and then on fourth down, which didn't add up either. So when you do that three times in a row to Gibbs, the team kind of the Green Bay Packers kind of knew what you were going to do. So what happened by giving up the ball to Green Bay in the mid part of the field, you gave Love an opportunity to score a 51-yard touchdown pass to to uh, mm, to Christian Watson. So that's kind of what happened. I mean, you set up. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. You set up your team to win, and then you set up your team to lose. And by going for it in midfield on your first possession, you're setting your team to lose, and that's not a good thing. And it's a very rookie thing to do as a rookie coach if you've never coached football in the NFL level before. So the concern that we have isn't the fact that we can or cannot make it. Its concern is more, why are you going for it and why are you doing this now and knowing that you're still got another 30 minutes left of the game, at least 27, 25 minutes left in the game, right? And then going back to that fourth quarter, and when Detroit had the ball on the 22-yard line, and Jameson Williams doesn't catch it, and it's 4th and 3. You had an opportunity to kick the field goal. Now, now you can argue with me all you want. You can tell me, "Oh, you don't know football. You don't know what's going on." And I'll tell you this, folks. I think a lot of people who are not football guru guys kind of know the same thing. You don't have to be like the smartest guy in the world to understand the circumstances of the game. Okay. So take it, what do you want to leave it? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm right. I don't know what to tell you, folks. Okay. I mean, if you, if you look at the stats of Detroit and Green Bay as the players' stats, Jordan Love had 18 for 30, 234 yards, 4 touchdowns. Why would you give up 4 touchdowns to one of your division rivals? And there was no pressure at Jordan Love. I mean, there really wasn't. I mean, and some people are a little frustrated with Hutchinson. Okay, but I tell you, McNeil played pretty well. Hutchinson was probably double team a lot. Uh, Detroit does play that man to man press, but the thing is like if if you put your team on the field and play defense too much, too long, and you go on fourth downs and you fail, I'm talking about Detroit, your defense is going to get tired. They just will. You need a lot of defense rest. So Jordan Love had 4 touchdowns. There's no pressure, no sacks. Jared Goff, 20 for 26, 256 yards, no interceptions, 2 touchdowns, sacked 3 times. Parsons had 2 at least. In the really crucial times. He had one, I think he might have all 3 of them, to be honest with you. But Parsons had one in the first half and the first quarter. Just shut that thing down, all right? If you look at the Green Bay rushing, Josh Jacobs had 17 carries, 83 yards. Jamon Gibbs for Detroit had 20 carries, 68 yards. Montgomery had 32 yards, 8 carries, 1 touchdown for David Montgomery. But you know that if you're Detroit, if you're Detroit and you know that Jamon Gibbs has problems running against Green Bay because Green Bay is prepared for Jamon Gibbs, you got to do something different. And I get it. Sam Laporta is out, but you had Brock Wright there. You had Kennedy playing real well. You had all these guys playing real well, and then you still set it up for Detroit to lose. And that's basically what I think Detroit Lion fans are really kind of getting frustrated with. We love the gritty, we love the grit, we love the gutsy plays, but you don't have an offense coordinator like Ben Johnson of the Chicago Bears, which they're playing real well. They're in the first place. They've been in first place the first time since 2006, I think. All right. But you had David Montgomery with 32 yards. Jared Goff had a one run for 24 yards, which was impressive. So that he read the defense is what he did. Okay. Um, they try to do something with Jamison Williams, -5 yards of rushing. Um, what I will say this about Jamison Williams and Tom Kennedy and Isaiah Tesla is that they all had a really, really good game. They really did. I think that Jamison Williams, uh, they just changed his the game plan. They went to him on cross routes. They didn't just go north and south with him. He got very great yards, 7 receptions, 144 yards, one touchdown, 44 yards is his longest, 10 targets. So that's something that you now that we know that he can actually run those routes. Now we know. Now that when St. Brown comes back, it will make our offense even better. Tom Kennedy had 4 receptions, 36 yards. The longest was 23 yards, 4 targets. Tom Kennedy's always been a Detroit Lions for the last couple of years, so he knows the playbook pretty well. And I will say this, folks, having Dan Campbell doing the playbook, it may be a very not great thing, but I think in the following year, Detroit's going to have to look for a playbook guy, a new offense coordinator, some guy that makes the offensive plays calls coming in. All right. I don't think that's something that Dan Campbell is going to be great at. I think when you are, in my opinion, I think with Dan Campbell, if he keeps making play calls, it becomes too emotional. It could be just too emotional for him. Okay. He might just think the team can make every fourth down no matter what. Who knows? So, Jamon Gibbs, 3 reception, 18 yards. David Montgomery, 2 receptions, 16 yards. Um, but I think that we had one fumble with David Montgomery, um, and that's about it. I think Brian Branch played a very well game for Detroit. Nice hits, nice solid hits. He came up and stopped Jacobs a couple times. Aiden Hutchinson had 6 total tackles, 3 solo. Um, Jack Campbell had 9 total tackles, 5 solo tackles. So I don't think Detroit's defense is the issue. I think that yes, we are giving up a lot of points in the red zone. We are the 25th in the league in the red zone area, but that's something that you know you put your team on the defense. They're too long. It can hurt you. Okay. Uh, if I would say this, folks, I say that even though Frank Ragnow, and I know you guys heard the story that Frank Ragnow was going to come back in Detroit, and he was coming out of retirement, thinking that Detroit had an opportunity to win or go to the Super Bowl. He failed his physical, and that's something that's not a good thing. But it, you know, maybe that would give us an opportunity of hope. Maybe he'd be wanting to come back next year. Some people think that he is no good, no show. They just don't think that he wants to be uh, doing the whole fiasco thing. Uh, I don't know, but um, Detroit. I think there's just Detroit lost 31-24. I think they had their opportunity. I think they are. Uh, I think they. I think they. I think if you're a Detroit Lion fan, I think that you are. I think we're very lucky that we have a team that's 7-5. and 4-2 at home. And I don't know how many more games we're gonna win because we got Dallas Cowboys this coming Thursday, and then we have the Rams. So 2 tough games, um, but take it where you wanna leave it. Uh, I just think Dan Campbell needs to, I think Dan Campbell needs to, slow it down a little bit. Let the game come to you. Let the game come to you, let the game come to Detroit, let things, operate smoothly by punting the ball in more situational, uh, timing and periods. Now, if you're on the road, I don't think Dan Campbell's gonna punt the ball. I think he's gonna go for it. But if you I don't know. You tell me if Dan Campbell is the biggest, issue that we have. Is it Dan Campbell? Is it the offense coordinator? You tell me if I'm just all gibberish. But I do think Detroit has a chance still to make the playoffs. It's just beginning December. The Bears could go 0-4 in December. Uh, Green Bay could also go 1-3, and Detroit could turn it on in December. So let's let's make things happen. Let's turn things around. Let's not lose hope. Let's not get all flustered. Um, that's what sports is about. Sports is about winning and losing. And if winning was too easy, you wouldn't enjoy it. Correct? So if you like this podcast or this episode, follow me on YouTube, Patreon, Spotify, um, subscribe. I'm also on Apple. Yes. Peace, love, and follow, subscribe. I'm out of here. The Crazy Dre Podcast Show.